Tonight on Connections, we'll meet a man who prepares heavy metal for light use. Then, we'll go sailing with Captain Steve. Finally, we'll introduce you to a guy who fancies America's favorite feline. You're watching Connections Live, connecting you to your community.
Good evening and welcome to the fall season finale of Connections Live. I'm Andrea Watts.
And I'm Brian McElhatton. You know, it is that time of year again, braving the cold and the crowds to find that perfect gift. But shopping malls and chain stores aren't the only places worth checking out.
You know, that's so true. I love going to the different shops. I actually went to one last weekend with my mom, and we really avoided the hustle and bustle of this time of year.
Yeah, that's a very smart idea. You never know what you might find if you shop a bit closer to home. Take George Gale, for example. He's a Brown County artisan who creates artful items unlike anything you'll find at one of those chain stores.
Once you start welding and brazing and using the torch and all the different equipment, new ideas of things that you can do just kind of explode. My name's George Gale, and I'm an artist craftsman, which means sometimes I'm a craftsman and I'm doing repetitive work, and sometimes I'm an artist, I'm doing something completely original. 30-some years, and it's just loads and loads of pieces. And when I look back at photographs, I'll think, oh, yeah, I don't even remember doing that. But it's kind of in the moment. It's the piece that I'm doing is probably the most important piece. What I like about doing geometric shapes, there's just something almost, intrinsic in my nature that I like these lines. To be able to build these pieces that have straight lines, it's just kind of a breath of fresh air for me to design these pieces so that I have this, whatever the modern intrinsic feeling that I have, I can bring out. The bubble wands are made of copper with a bronze shaft, and I braze them together. One of the things that I like particularly about the bubble wands is that each one is different, which is good for me because I get to be creative, and it's good for the consumer because they get something that's unique. So when you pick one of the bubble wands up, you can blow on it and you'll get a bubble. If you blow real slow, you'll get little bubbles, and they'll build up within each other. So it's just a phenomenal. So there we go, we got those. One of the great things about working at home, my studio is probably 100 feet from the house. I can come out here anytime. It's just convenient living and working here. I enjoy the work. I enjoy the challenge. I enjoy figuring out how to do things. Once the work's done, I'm not that fond of it. It's not real important to me. It's more the process of doing it. It's the journey and not the destination. It's the challenge of figuring out how to do this, not having it done. There's ribbons and there's plaques and name mentions and all that sort of thing. But those are just people's opinions. I get to live the lifestyle that I want to live. And that's probably the greatest award.
You can see more of George Gale's work at his website, www.browncountycopper.com.
You might have to check that out. He really does have an intriguing craft.
Yeah, you really have to appreciate a guy who turns his hobby into a way of life.
Definitely, and while George Gale is a craftsman who uses his hands, this next story visits one who doesn't. Let's take a look at Mother Nature in Turkey Run State Park.
Turkey Run became a state park in October of 1916, and we were supposed to be the first state park in Indiana that was part of a system of state parks. Now, this was the first system of state parks any place in the nation. Of course, we had a few national parks at that time, but this was groundbreaking. My name is Barbara Cummings. I'm the interpretive naturalist for both Turkey Run and Shade State Parks. 320 million years ago, that's where the story starts. We were the delta for the Michigan River. It was a great big river that started in the area that's now Michigan and flowed down here and ended at Turkey Run State Park because we were the West Coast 320 million years ago. Of course, a delta system builds up when a sediment-filled river, a very large river the size of the Mississippi today, hits a slower moving body of water like an ocean, slows down, dropping out its sediment load and building up these great big mounds and piles and fan-shaped deltas of dirt. So the rocks that you see at Turkey Run 320 million years ago were loose, unconsolidated sand that you could build sandcastles out of, had there been people. For the size we are, I think people are attracted to this place because there is such a huge range of things to do. You can bring little kids here and you can have fun. Teenagers have fun coming here. It's hard to engage teenagers in the outdoors sometimes, but man, there's challenging hiking here at the park. We have botanists who come here. We have old people who can't get out anymore and hike around on the trails, come and enjoy the nature center and the fireplace over at the inn. There is literally something for everyone at Turkey Run State Park. These natural areas like Turkey Run are so important as our lives become more complicated and more involved, as technology leaps forward. We need these places. We need quiet places to reconnect with nature and to calm ourselves inside. And so Turkey Run provides that for people. It gives people a place to walk into the woods and just stop, inside and out. Just stop for a minute to see what kind of animals are around them, what other creatures share this planet besides us, because we're so us-centered, we people, in every facet of our lives. So I think these parks are so important for people as cities grow larger and we lose our countryside, as a place to get back and reconnect with nature, reestablish the connection to the stars that could barely be seen anymore because of all the city lights, and to get out there and feel the breeze on your face and smell the smells of the woods and feel the threat of the bobcat and challenge yourself on the rock climbing and the rugged cliffs and canyons. Turkey Run's a place to reconnect with nature.
Turkey Run State Park is located in Marshall, Indiana. For more information, you can visit their website at in.gov/DNR.
You know, it really is beautiful. I love being able to get out and camp, and it's definitely a place the entire family can enjoy.
That is true, but visiting a state park isn't the only thing a family can enjoy. Sailing can also be something for you and your loved ones to try. Here's Captain Steve Nefera, who shares with us his passion for the outdoors.
If you're not aware of what you're doing, you can be lost. You got waves, you got current, you got wind, you got your sails themselves. To be a sailor, you need to have the desire. My name is Steve Nefera. I'm 68 years old. I've been sailing for 40 plus years. I would say that I could probably continue to sail till I'm 80 years old right now. Check the rudder to see if there's any weeds on it. We'll clean off the centerboard. I think sailing, it keeps your mind active, keeps you challenged, keeps you thinking. It kind of tells you, hey, you got to stay with it. You just can't sit, become an old man and become complacent with this whole thing, you know. Life goes on, and if you don't stay with it, they're going to pass you. And in a sailboat, nobody passes me. So this boat's got some age on it. Seen some sailing. Sailing has a tendency to cleanse your mind, and it's like starting over with a clean sheet of paper. Now you see up in front of that jib sheet, if you look up halfway up that sail, the front sail, you'll see telltales. To teach people is kind of fun. So you want to let go of this sail, and that sail will come through by itself, and this one will come across over your head. To see it with your kids or your grandkids, where they can do it, it's great. Okay, you ready? Here we go. They go back home and they tell their friends that I can sail. That's perfect when you got both of them going in that direction. All right. Yeah, that's good. It's kind of like an addiction. I can feel when I haven't sailed for a while, the need, I gotta get out there and do it. You know, I just rely on it, you know, come on, wind, what's the matter with you? Sailing is, you know, it's matured me, it's made me think, and it's kept me youthful. I like sailing, I enjoy it very much.
Stay tuned, because after the break, we'll meet a local Cowan resident with a very special skill.
These things we count on every day started as ideas. Ideas from the minds of African Americans. Support minority education today so we don't miss out on the next big idea tomorrow. The United Negro College Fund. A mind is a terrible thing to waste.
The odds of a child becoming a professional golfer? 1 in 140,000. The odds of a child being diagnosed with autism? 1 in 150. You know the odds of autism. Now learn the signs. Go to autismspeaks.org.
Welcome back to Connections Live. You know, Brian, I was wondering if you had any musical talents.
Well, I'm guessing singing in the shower probably doesn't count, but I do play guitar here and there, but I'm no Peter Frampton. So.
Well, just wait till you meet Shad Peters, who not only plays the guitar, but he builds them as well.
First decided I wanted to build a guitar when a friend of mine was going to build a banjo, and I had been wanting a new guitar anyway, but guitars are expensive. So I figured, you know, I've been working with wood for a good part of my life. I can probably build one. So I started doing some research and everything, and by late spring of that year, I had started building the guitar. My name is Shad Peters, 18 years old, and I've been building guitars for the past 2 years of those 8 years, and a banjo too. The design for the guitar, I just kind of sat down and started drawing stuff up, you know. It was sort of just like a progression of one thing to the next. You come up with one idea and you're like, hey, that'd look kind of cool. Why don't I try morphing it with this, you know?
When Shad first had the idea to make the guitar, I was not real optimistic that he would even do it. It just seemed like quite a accomplishment for somebody of his age and with the experience that he's had, but he did a lot of research, and when he finally was finished, I was really impressed with the work that he had done.
The amount of time it takes to build one, it varies a lot just on how much time I have to actually work on it. I could probably build one if I was working on it full time. I could go through all the construction process in about 2 weeks or so. You know, like 2 40-hour weeks. So, I mean, it's a lot of work. And then you still have to do all the finishing and everything, and that can take a lot of time depending on what kind of styling and stuff with the finish that you want to do. I've gotten to the point now where my quality level is a lot higher than it was, you know, initially. I mean, my first guitar, I love it, but compared to this last one that I made, I mean, that thing would have, you know, pretty much played itself. Compared to this first one. To date, I have sold just 2 of my guitars. I've only actually made 3. I'm getting ready to start a 4th one, and I've done the banjo. So I have my first electric guitar. The other 2 electric guitars I've sold. One of them was to a good friend of mine. The other one I did for the Henry County Memorial Hospital, and they sold it in a silent auction for nursing scholarships. One of the best things about doing it is, you know, when you finally get done and you can see the finished product that's evolved, you know, from being a piece of paper. I think that's one of the things I like most about building them.
And while Shad Peters is busy handcrafting one guitar at a time, Indianapolis band Margot and the Nuclear So-and-Sos is bringing music to the masses.
My name is Richard Edwards. I play in Margot and the Nuclear So-and-Sos. And there you have it. I don't know what the difference between coming out of Indianapolis and coming out of Los Angeles or somewhere, because I don't have the other side, I guess.
Being from Indianapolis, I think, is a good thing. There are a lot of good bands in Indy right now. In Indy, Muncie, Bloomington, like that general middle of Indiana area.
Well, I think just being from the Midwest is a good thing for a band, because you get a little flavor from every side, from the East Coast, from the West Coast, and I think that helps be more well-rounded as a band or musician. There's certainly stories of where our name came from, but I think the most honest answer is that it was intentionally just an anti-name almost. It's like a bad name on purpose. I think when all of us heard it first, we were like, oh gosh, Richard, are you sure about this? This name's really long, but it grew on us, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
Okay, we're here in Muncie, Indiana at the launching pad, and the crowd is huge. Too huge, in fact. They had to turn people away, so Margot and the Nuclear So-and-Sos decided that we really care about our audience, and we wanted to make sure that everybody got to see the show, so we're playing an acoustic set after this show, just for the people that couldn't get in.
I've been feeling very depressed in Chicago, and now I'm happy.
Yeah, we're in Chicago right now, recording.
I think our new record's gonna be a lot different. I don't think it sounds anything like our old record. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's gonna be anything like the other one, so.
Where do I think that I'm going, that we are going, that Margot's going? I have no idea, and I kind of like that I have no idea. It keeps that element of mystery.
All I can hope is that we get a chance to keep making records and grow our Margot experience.
Stay tuned after the break. We'll meet two Muncie students who are turning up the heat.
What's that? I don't know. Something I kind of made. Ooh, what's it do?
What do I do? Well, thanks for asking. I ring my bell and I like to dance. What do I do? Well, thanks for asking.
Ow! Yeah, it still needs a little work.
Anything's possible. Keep thinking. Get started on your own inventions or just play some games at inventnow.org.
Can we pause it for a second?
Okay.
Thanks.
Hey, where you going?
I need to pass gas.
Well, that's cool. You can do it here.
No way.
Go ahead. I don't care.
Look, if I pass gas in here, it's gonna be toxic, and it could linger for hours, maybe days. Is that what you want?
No.
Be right back.
Secondhand smoke contains hydrogen cyanide and other deadly gases. Don't pass gas. Take it outside.
Welcome back to Connections Live. Blacksmithing is an age-old form of crafting metal. It dates all the way back to Greek mythology. But in Newcastle, Indiana, there are two teenagers who are reviving that craft in a very modern way. Take a look.
It's more than just hammering hot metal. It's a form of art. I'm Andy Davis, I'm 17, and I'm a blacksmith.
I've been working as a blacksmith now for I think 2 or 3 years. Started in the winter of 2004 with Andy, and it's been like a never-ending just learning process. I'm David Delagardelle, I'm 18 years old, and I'm a blacksmith.
We start with a car leaf spring, and it's a curved, bent piece of steel, so first we have to flatten it, and then once we flatten it, we usually forge the tang, which is the part that runs through the center of the handle to hold everything together. And then we'll forge the tip of the blade, and then we will flatten out the edges and make sure everything is precise and get it straight. And then we will grind and refine it on the belt sander. After the grinding is done, we usually harden it, which is quenching it in oil. And then after that, we temper it. And after that, we finally do a polish and then assemble the handle.
Me and Andy, ever since we were just little kids and friends, we've loved, epic mythology, whether it's like, J.R.R. Tolkien books, literature, or like, the writings of C.S. Lewis. But I don't know, we just really found something like in mythology that we loved, and like our swords portray just the positive things you can do with the sword. It doesn't have to, slay hundreds of people to do anything brave. You can protect your homeland, in the old mythologies and stuff, or, defend something for good. So that's what we, attracted us as we got into swordsmithing and what drives us, really.
I look at the practical side of a sword or a knife or anything, but David, he really looks at the artistic, flowing, and natural look to it.
Be debating on, what should we do with this project, and I think about the design, he thinks about the function, so it's good to be working with someone else.
How'd you do that?
It's a really satisfying feeling when you have, spent, time and effort and put blood into it and all the work, and you have a finished blade, and it is a really good feeling, but you also have to get over it, if you want to sell it. But it's a sense of accomplishment that it feels really, really good, and it's better than just, going out and buying a sword or settling for something less than that. It's just getting out there and doing it yourself. So it's a really, really good feeling to accomplish something like that.
It's really a great feeling to see this piece of metal sitting in someone's backyard, to take it, transform it into something completely different, polish it up, and then it's fun to take it back to the person and show them this is what we found in your backyard and this is what it is now.
I am not much of a craftsman, but that really looks like a lot of fun.
It's interesting because we use metal objects every day, but I've never seen the behind the scenes of how it's crafted.
And while David and Andy are in their shop shaping metal, Marvin Porter is busy in his studio keeping America's favorite fat cat looking good.
It really starts with an idea. It starts with marketing. It starts with product development. I'm Marvin Porter. I'm Director of 3D Development for Paws Incorporated. Because we're a worldwide company and we have licensees all over the world who are producing Garfield product, we ask them to take digital photographs and send them to us on the internet. We pick up those digital photographs and we do overlays, that is a drawing of what Garfield should look like, and do call-outs with arrows and colors and to show them what we expect it to look like. Because I'm a sculptor, I know exactly what they're working on. I know exactly the material they're working with, and I know how to make it right. I think that some of the things that I really enjoy about this job are the diversity of projects that I work on. I enjoy getting my hands in and physically doing the sculpting.
Well, he's a fat cat, a cool cat, nobody's fool cat, but look out, cause here comes Garfield. He never keeps fit, he's too hip, he likes his catnip, but look out, cause here comes Garfield.
I also enjoy doing things that are a challenge, that are new and unique. Recently I was called upon to assist in the development of character for the movies. This being done as 3D in the computer was a whole new realm for me, because the goal for the movie wasn't to make a cartoon-style Garfield, but to make a real cat look like Garfield.
No, this is just a bad dream. I'm going to close my eyes, and when I open them, everything will be back to normal. Stop! That's not normal. Not close. Oh, great. Dog cooties. Somebody inoculate me, please.
It was very unique, and it was interesting and a lot of fun. Took a lot of time to do. My goal is to make Jim Davis happy with the product that's being made.
Well, between guitars, Garfield, and a state park, I think we've covered just about everything we can for one episode. We thank you for spending time with us tonight.
And as always, if you'd like more information about our show or any of the stories you've seen tonight, check us out at connectionstv.org.
We look forward to seeing you next time right here on Connections Live. Have a good night.